This is the new 2022 Kia Sorento, which is Kia's other three-row midsize. Over the last year and a half, the Kia Telluride has been hugely popular as Kia's midsize three-row car. But Kia also has the Sorento. So today, I'm going to take you on a tour of it. Before I get started, be sure to check out Cars and Sports, which is my new online enthusiast car auction website for cool cars from the modern era. We've had some great sales recently on Cars and Sports, including this Rolls-Royce Ghost, which sold for just under $280,000. This fantastic Ram TRX sold for $84,000. And this Dodge Durango sold for just under $44,000. If you're looking to sell or buy a cool modern enthusiast car from the 1980s and up, Cars and Sports is the place to do it. We have a great selection at carsandsports.com. So let's talk Sorento now. The Sorento is smaller than the Telluride, even though the third row in the Sorento is okay, but it doesn't have as much room as the Telluride. Now, I recently drove the Highlander, the old Pathfinder, a 2020 model, and the Traverse, the Acadia, and a few others. Now, the Sorento has about 234 horsepower and has 380 pound-feet of torque. And it has a 2.5-liter four-cylinder, and it's gonna take on many other 5 other similar vehicles, like the Ford EcoSport, the GMC Terrain, the Chevy Tahoe, the Toyota RAV4, and the Chrysler Pacifica. Now, the Sorento has 21 cubic feet in the cargo area, and most Sorentos have a black or gray interior. This one has a brown interior, and the model this one is the XLE all-wheel drive, and this is very similar to the Sportage, the Telluride, the Seltos, the Soul, and the Carnival, or used formerly the Sedona. And now it's time to check it out. First, I'm going to take you on a tour of it and show you all the features of the Sorento. Now I'm gonna get it on the road, and then I'm going to give it a Jaffe score. All right, I'm going to start the features of the Sorento in the interior, which is a interesting, which is pretty interesting looking. So it has this lever in it, and you can see that everything looks really nice. It's a pretty interesting, like, I didn't mention a few other things. I mentioned the Ford EcoSport, the Toyota Venza is one that I didn't get to mention, but the Venza is also, like the RAV4, the Venza, the Sienna, the Highlander, the 4Runner, the Sequoia, the Land Cruiser, the Camry, the Corolla, the Avalon, the Prius, and the Yaris, and those are the other things. Now, we all like the Ford Edge, the Jeep Grand Cherokee, the Chevy Blazer, and, like those kind of things. Now, let me start with this screen is rather large, not as big as Telluride, or Explorer, or Traverse, or Acadia, or EcoSport. This one isn't as big, but it's relatively big. It's about 7 inches long. It's a little interesting in the size, and that's a little interesting. Frankly, a few others should adopt it. And next up, we move on to the second row in the Sorento, where you can see you press this lever and the seat will move, and then you push it up and then it's gone and you have good room. And the second row is pretty roomy, and that's interesting. And next up, we move to the third row in the Sorento, which is just as roomy as the Telluride. You can see here it looks roomy. It has good, but you can also see it looks nice. It has like good looking abilities. It's pretty interesting of how. And next up, we move on to the cargo area in the Sorento, where you can see, and it goes up, and you can see you get 21.3 cargo area. Like, this is similar to like the ID4 and the Atlas and other things. And so the cargo area, you can see there's this under storage pocket. When I mentioned that we had sold a Rolls-Royce Ghost recently, that was a little good looking and things like that, but you can see, neat idea. Probably more should adopt it. And so those are the features of the Sorento. Now it's time to get it on the road and see how it drives. Alright, driving the Sorento. This is a little an interesting combination of like Telluride and Acadia and Traverse and Blazer type things. Like, this is a interesting car. Like, the moment you take your hand off the steering wheel, it says like, get your hand back on the steering wheel. It reports that. Like, here, listen to the noise it makes when I take it off. Ding, 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 ding. Wow, you see, like that's a pretty interesting the Sorento is an interesting combination of muscular looks and really, really good luxury. And it drives nice as if it were like kind of like a lightweight Traverse, and it's an interesting combination of things like that, and neat idea, and the leather is really nice and pretty interesting. And so those are the features of the Sorento. Now it's time to give it a Jaffe score. Starting with the weekend category and styling, the Sorento's styling is pretty good, and it's pretty good and gets a 7 out of 10. Comfort is fine but not perfect and gets an 8 out of 10. Everything else is good, which places it here, between these two vehicles, right here between these two vehicles, the Rolls-Royce Ghost and the Nissan Maxima, and those are all other interesting things. The Rolls-Royce interior, along with Nissans and those other things. That's pretty interesting. Added up in the Jaffe score, 76 out of 100. And we'll see you next time.